Hi, my name is Pranav Kulkarni, and today I'm going to give you a demo on how to set up VMs using Vagrant and how to configure a node or a set of nodes using Ansible. This is part of the software engineering course Homework 5. So I'm going to create two VMs, one as master and one as slave. The master node will have the Ansible server running, and the master will talk to the slave through Ansible and configure the slave with the following packages like node, forever, git, the installing the npm packages, and then running a small application on the slave. All this will be done through Ansible. So before we begin that, I'm just going to create two VMs. One is master and the other is slave. So I'll start off by making two folders. I'm going to spin up two VMs. I need to be inside the master folder to begin that. Cool. So slave. I'm going to edit the vagrant file of the slave so that it can be accessed using an IP address. Cool. So now I'm going to, let's say, start both the VMs. As you can see in the Oracle VirtualBox Manager, we have the two VMs running. One is the master and one is the slave. Cool. So I'm going to SSH into the master. Cool. So, and I'm going to SSH into the slave. And if I do an ifconfig, I can see the IP address that I changed, which is 192.168.33.101. Cool. And then if you see in the slave, I don't have anything installed like node, and I don't even have, I think I don't even have pip installed. Yeah, pip is also not installed. And let's go to the master and install Ansible first. Cool. So I've got some basic libraries set up first, like Python and Git. Just waiting for this command to get completed, and then I will install Ansible using pip. Cool. So now I'll install Ansible on the master. Now for the master to talk to the slave, we have already changed the IP address to whatever we want, and then we're going to use that IP address to access from the master. So I'm going to exit this slave and I'm going to create SSH keys. Now this SSH key will then allow me to SSH into that slave VM from the master. So all I have to do is copy the private key. Cool, it's there on my clipboard, and here it is. Okay, I'm going to create a directory of keys. Let's say I call it slave.key, and here I'm going to paste it. Cool. I'm also going to give it a founded permission. Cool. So this is my master, and you will see just the keys folder, and if you can see, the Ansible version is 2.2, and of course the Ansible is installed only on the master and not the slave. Now the next step would be to create an inventory file. So I'm going to create an inventory file here. Cool. I'm going to rename it as slave.key, and the SSH host will be the slave host, which is 33.101, and the name of that VM is slave, so I'm going to call this slave. Cool. So if you see here in the master, you will see keys, directory, and the inventory file present. Now the next step would be to actually let me see if okay, this is a slave is running. I'm going to SSH into the slave, and now we'll actually do a ping from the master to the slave and see if we get any reply back. And there you go, for ping you got a pong, so it was successful. So in a nutshell, we have set up the two VMs, the master is able to talk to the slave, and we have the Ansible installed on the master. Now comes the most interesting part, which is configuring the slave using the master node. Cool. So I have created a playbook called the Ansible playbook, which is basically a YML file, and it has all the modules and commands to actually install the packages and do some configuration on the slave. So as per the homework, we first want to install some basic software like Git, Node.js, npm, and all such things. So the tasks will actually define the commands that need to be executed in order to do the configuration. In order to do the GitHub, so in order to check out a repo, we first create a directory called the app directory, and we also install a package called forever because that's what we need to keep running our web application that we are going to check out from the Git repo. The Git clone repo will actually go ahead and clone the Git repo into the app directory, and then of course we also want to do an npm install, in which case it just installs all the uh, packages required by the web application. Then we of course start the Node.js app using forever, and we provide the port 80. Cool. So this was just one part of the homework. The second part of the homework was to ensure that some of the packages are installed correctly, like for example bash, OpenSSL, OpenSSH client, server, etc., and also remove the temp. Now Ansible has a very neat parameter called state equal to latest, which ensures that if the package is old, it will fetch the latest version from the apt-get repository. So that was for bash. Similarly, we have done for OpenSSL, OpenSSH client, OpenSSH server, and all those packages are being fetched using the apt command. And the last part is to actually empty the contents of the temp directory. So I'm going to create a playbook file in my master. Cool. So I have my playbook file, I have the inventory. So the inventory basically tells us the host that we want to talk to. And as I had shown before on my slave, I don't have node installed. I don't have pip installed. And let's see. And also, by the way, I don't have the git cloned repository as well. So all those things will be done by the playbook.yml. Cool, so this is how you run a playbook. Cool, so as you can see, it is running each task. So the first one is like install packages, which is defined here. So the name gets printed for each task. And let's wait for the playbook to get executed completely. In the meanwhile, I'm going to talk to you about the bonus problem, which is setting up a VM using AWS or some cloud provider like maybe Amazon, EC2, or DigitalOcean Droplets. So this can be done using Ansible playbook itself. So I've created a new playbook called aws.yml, and I can run it on localhost. I can run it on master, and I'll have some packages. I'll need to install some packages like maybe Python pip if it's not already present, and the most important package is Boto. Amazon EC2 requires Boto. That's what they're mentioning in the documentation. So I've installed Boto as well. And then there is a nice EC2 module in which you can provide your key name, the instance type, image. Do you want to wait till the instance starts running, and how many VMs you require, the region, and of course the AWS access key and the secret key. Now, as you can see, the access key and secret key are some important credentials, and we don't want them hard-coded in the playbook, so I'm going to have them set up as environment variables. So let's see if the earlier tasks have completed, and as you can see, um, it has successfully installed the packages like npm, node.js, git, and curl. And then it has also created the app directory. It had installed forever. It has done git clone. It has also done npm install. It had started the node.js app, and then it has also ensured all the latest versions of OpenSSH, Bash, and OpenSSH server, etc. And it has, I think, also cleaned up the temp directory. Now let's see here in the slave. So if I do NLS, you can see the app directory has been created successfully. Now let's see what's there in the app directory. And there you go, you have the checked out repo. And since we have the app running, we should be able to access that app from a browser. So let's try it out. As you can see, the app is running and we get a hello. So we have the app running using Ansible. By the way, we have Node installed, and that's why, of course, our app is running, and we also see that here interactively. So this completes our step one, which is setting up of all the packages and also running the web application. Now the next step, the bonus point, is to provision a virtual machine on Amazon EC2. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a playbook for creating a VM on AWS. Alright, so now moving on to the AWS playbook file, which is going to create a virtual machine on the AWS EC2. I already have my AWS credentials set up as part of the environment variables by the name AWS underscore access key ID and also secret access key. Of course, I'm not going to show you those credentials. So I have my AWS playbook file. I'm going to create a new file called aws.yml. Just paste those in, and we have the AWS Python file. So let's go ahead and run our AWS playbook. And also, actually, before running, I just want to show you that there are no instances running on my EC2 console. And let's see. It's going to install some basic packages like Python pip and also Boto, which is required by the EC2 module. So now it's actually running the EC2 instance task. And there you see, it hasn't failed to run, it ran successfully. Let's see if I refresh this page. There we go, we have one running instance. And there it is. So there is my VM. I can simply do an SSH and log into that VM using my public IP or the public DNS name. So that's how you create a VM using Ansible. So this completes all the tasks given in the homework file, and thank you for watching.